बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। दिस इज साद छोटानी। उम्मीद करता हूँ आप सब खैरियत से होंगे। मैं बाय प्रोफेशन एक परफॉर्मेंस कोच और ट्रेनर हूँ। आई हेल्प ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एंड इंडिविजुअल्स first of all explore their fullest potential and then be able to work towards towards reaching towards their fullest potential and be able to function there and be able to reap all the benefits and advantages of working to our full potential and performance. So that's a very rewarding opportunity. That's a very rewarding feeling if you're able to even unlock just a bit of your potential and capabilities that's been locked inside. And so if you are able to unlock that potential, that's the best feeling of the world. So that's what I do. That's my profession. So today I'm going to share with you one of the greatest formula that I have unlocked for myself and for the organizations that I work with, that has helped them and me, of course, reach to an extent where I feel that I'm actually working on my potential, on the level of performance that is something that's very rewarding and very satisfactory. So I'm going to share with you three things. These three things are very common, and if a person can understand, I'll just make it very simple to understand, and that's quite a rewarding thing if you get to understand it early in your life. And that is that first of all, a person must understand and explore the pattern of how the events are falling into that person's life or in the organization. What is the pattern that they are working in? Why are they experiencing various results? Why are they experiencing various consequences? There's a reason for everything. There's a reason for every result that we experience in life. If you are having some sort of health related problems, if you are having some sort of monetary issues, financial issues, there is always a pattern behind everything that we experience, that we achieve in life. So a person should be able to understand, recognize the pattern which the person is following through the course of their actions, through the course of their lives. And life is it's the amalgamation, it's the consolidation of lots of actions that we take, and all the actions must be following that similar pattern that you have. And those patterns are developed when we were very young, and we're certainly subconsciously following that pattern and just working through that pattern, which is allowing us to draw a few results. So first of all, recognize the patterns. Second of all, once you're able to recognize the patterns, you should be able to use them wisely, consciously, in your favor. Patterns may not always be very ideal. They may not be something that you may always want. Patterns are being created. You can use them for your benefit sometimes in a nice way, sometimes in not a very nice way, but you have to use them. You have to recognize it, then you have to use it for your good so that you can draw some results out of it. The third thing is, once you recognize it, now you know that you know how to use those patterns for your benefit, for your good, for your growth, for your performance. Now you should know that you can also create those patterns. If you know the power of creating paradigms, creating high-level thoughts, and by the help of thoughts, because thoughts are very powerful. A lot of people confuse thoughts with mental activity. Mental activity is the result of our subconscious mind, is the result of our pre-made, pre-constructed patterns that are already been embedded into our mind, into our subconscious mind through the years of our lives. But by using the conscious thoughts, conscious thinking, we can actually create those patterns. We can actually create new patterns, and we can make them a part of our pre-existing old patterns, which may not be very rewarding, which may not be really serving you to achieve great results. So in order to achieve great results, you have to create sometimes new patterns which will be rewarding to you. Now, as we have understood that we need to first of all recognize, then use, and then create new patterns, this is how we know where we are going, where we are actually leading our lives. So in a nutshell, we have to be conscious. We have to be conscious of why we are having certain results, because every result has a pattern, right? Now I'm going to give you 3 things that you can use to have great patterns, create great patterns, and have 3 traits. If you have these 3 traits, you will definitely be able to have better control and draw better performance out of your life. Now, these 3 things I've written on the board. Let's just see what they are. The first thing that we all have to understand is that if a person wants to achieve something, has to be ambitious. Being ambitious about them. Being ambitious actually means that you want to be in the top 20% of the audience, top 20% of the successful people. It's not having the mediocre lifestyle. It's not having the mediocre way of thinking that, okay, I will settle for this. This is not settling for something which is not really, which is not really very, very appealing to you. And keep trying for something harder. Keep trying for something, something difficult. And consciously putting yourself into that pursuit where you will be challenged. All of your resources are going to be challenged. So you are ambitious, first of all. Now, second of all, you have to be committed. What does commitment actually mean? In the course of your actions, in the course of your going towards your goals and objectives, whatever they are, whatever results you want to draw out of your life, you have to be committed. Now, being committed and being involved is certainly 2 different things. People confuse being involved into something with commitment, and that's really somewhere where people get deceived and they get bogged down. What happens is that when you're working on a project, on a task, on something that you personally like, as long as you're having fun, you feel the commitment, you feel the level of connection and attachment to that project and that work and the goal, be it financial, fitness, social, relationship, everything. If you are having fun and if you feel like you're enjoying it, that's not commitment. That's just that's just involvement that you're having, that you're feeling involved in that particular thing, in that particular relationship. Now, the moment you start experiencing pain, the moment you start experiencing struggle, the moment you start overcoming, you have obstacles that you're facing in the pursuit, you start to experience some sort of difficulties, and now you start to doubt whether I'm going right or wrong. That's where you have to stay committed. That's where you have to stick to the plan. That's where you have to stick to the course of action. That's what the commitment actually is. Commitment is when you feeling stress and still you go about it. Still you carry on. That's where commitment actually comes in. And the last one, and one of the most important thing is that, as I said, having to know the patterns that, okay, you got to get bogged down by lots of things and you step back and you refrain from going forward, is due to a lot of fears that we have. Fear comes in lots of shapes and sizes. Sometimes they're perceptual, sometimes they're actual fears. They're actual, things that you should be fearful of. You should be aware of. You should be careful of. But being careful does not mean that you have to abandon your goal, abandon your dream for life, whatever that is. So you should be emotionally intelligent of how you're going to react, how you're going to feel emotionally about a lot of things, about a lot of differences, because sometimes you will encounter thoughts, you will encounter minds, you will encounter ideas that may not align with your subconscious paradigms, that may not align with your comfort zones. So you have to accept the fact that you will be, working with fears. You will be working with things that you're not really able to work with. Something is beyond your control. Something is going to be beyond your emotional, control or emotional palette that you have already created. So you need to be having these 3 traits in order to be really successful. So as you have understood that, you have been able to recognize few patterns, that okay, I have got these patterns on which I'm actually working subconsciously. Once you recognize that, those patterns comes onto the conscious level. Now once those patterns comes onto the conscious level, now you know that what patterns are good and what are not good for me. So you are able to work on those good patterns and try to really, abandon or maybe, ignore those patterns which is not serving you, potentially creating any results, creating any performance for you. So you can ignore them and maybe start to use the good patterns. Now as you're strong enough to use your good patterns, you can also create some good patterns, some powerful patterns for you, for yourself, with the help of these traits. When you start to be more ambitious, when you start to be more committed towards goals, when you start to be more emotionally intelligent, then only you can actually create great patterns. Once the great patterns are being created, the result will eventually come. The results will eventually start to occur. So be it anything, financial side of your life, emotional side of your life, your spiritual side, your relationships, your job, your career, your business, anything, you can actually create great, wonderful results into anything if you know these two things. First, patterns, having an understanding of the patterns, and second of all, be able to create patterns with great traits, great characteristics. So that was today's video. I hope this was helpful, and if you like the video, please do give it a like and do comment if you enjoyed some part of the training, some part of this video. I'll see you in another video. Take care. Allah Hafiz.